Stand by for broadcast.
You're listening to Inside Air, a behind-the-wire view of the Royal Air Force, its people, technology and operations.
Hello, I'm Flight Lieutenant Peter Lisney, and in this episode we spend time with RAF Reservists on COVID testing duty. We'll also reheat a few stories, just in case you missed them. But first, see if you can identify this noise. Find out if you're right at the end of this episode. Now, it's called MACA, or Military Aid to the Civil Authorities, and since the first lockdown, RAF Reservists have been swapping their civilian jobs to play their part on the COVID support force. Our correspondent, Flight Lieutenant Mark McKinstry, visited RAF Reservists on Operation RESCRIPT as they support the NHS with COVID testing in the northwest of England.
This is what we've joined for. This is what I want to do. This is, obviously the NHS are working like legends to try and get, as many lives saved as what they can do, and this helps. By doing this, it enables us to play our part as well and help in the national process.
I think it's actually proven and shown time and time again that the reserves are so flexible. We're all employed in different trades or branches when you join the reserve, and most of the people here are actually completely out of their comfort zone with those trades and branches, that they're not doing a job here for which they were actually joined the reserves to do.
Yeah. Okay, so you've registered, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, you happy it's a rapid COVID test that you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, happy to proceed with the test?
Yes.
Okay, have you done the test before?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, you can blow your nose first, please, then size your hands.
Hello, my name is Flight Lieutenant Mark McKinstry. Throughout the last year, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected us all. As part of the NHS-led effort to fight the disease, Royal Air Force Reserve personnel from across the country have been carrying out lateral flow tests in Greater Manchester. We spoke to some of the personnel involved at testing sites for members of the public in Trafford and Salford. I also spent a day with one of the testing teams at Bury Council's Bradley Fold Transport Depot, where tests were offered to council workers. My first stop was 611 Squadron at RAF Woodville.
I'm Squadron Leader Lee Rimmer. I'm the XO 611 Squadron and also the detachment commander for this MACA tasking in Greater Manchester. We've gathered here today. We're about to deploy for 4 weeks to Greater Manchester, and we're going at the request of the local authorities in Greater Manchester to assist with community COVID testing.
What has happened today here at Woodville?
Okay, so we've gathered 40 reservists here at Woodvale. They're arriving in various stages to be prepared, briefed, COVID tested themselves, and prepared for deployment to Greater Manchester to basically target the areas of the population who are asymptomatic for COVID. And the idea is that if we can pinpoint those, because they're asymptomatic, they're not displaying symptoms, but yet they could potentially spread the disease, then obviously we can inform them, we can find them, and we can get them isolated.
How important is it to show that the military as a tri-service, is interoperable and can join in and help each other out?
I think certainly it's a feature of modern operations, and it's probably always been the case that we work best in a tri-service environment. We are very much interdependent, interoperable. The colour of your uniform doesn't really matter at the end of the day. We're all trained to do a specific task as required. So I think it's important, certainly in a time of national emergency, that the military as a whole supports the local authorities, civilian populations and the communities of the UK.
611 Squadron has been involved throughout the pandemic in helping out with testing and various other operations that were going on. How important is it for 611 to be part of this?
It's great. I mean, yeah, we were heavily involved in Op RESCRIPT during the summer of 2020, supporting the communities in the northwest. Again, that was a bit further afield. We did cover Manchester, but we also covered Merseyside, Liverpool, and a few of the sort of the conurbations in between as well. So to be called again a second time to be the point of contact, to mount it. This is an RAF Reserve wide operation deployment that we're doing in support of Greater Manchester. We've drawn personnel from squadrons around the RAF Reserves, but for 611 Squadron, it's an opportunity to use our staff, our expertise, our facilities, and our equipment as well, where necessary to assist in that effort, particularly in the northwest. We are the local squadron for the northwest, and that's why it's important for us to be seen out on the ground doing this particular tasking.
Right, sir. Yeah. Okay, so you've registered, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, you happy it's a rapid COVID test that you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, happy to proceed with the test?
Yes.
Okay, have you done the test before?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, you blow your nose first, please, and size your hands.
Sergeant Scotty Langham, 611 Squadron, Royal Auxiliary Reserves. We're here to support the national effort in the fight against the COVID-19. So we're at a testing site in Bewley Hill to carry out a lateral flow test on members of the public that potentially just want to clarify whether they have or haven't got the symptoms.
And how has it been?
It's been good. It's been well run. It's been well organised. We've split down into different flights, formed little bubbles, and we turn up depending on what shift we're on. There's either a morning shift, a middle shift and an afternoon shift. So we just turn up according to what we've been rotated in, and we just take over the site, run it in conjunctions with the civilian staff that are here as well, and we just make sure that the members of the public come through safe, get tested, and obviously we message them with the results, whether they're negative or positive. Thankfully we've had no positive test cases here, so it's all been negative members of the public, which is good.
So how does it make you feel, as a reservist, getting involved in something like this?
This is what we've joined for. This is what I want to do. This is, obviously the NHS are working like legends to try and get, as many lives saved as what they can do, and this helps. By doing this, it enables us to play our part as well and help in the national process. So it's an honour to be able to do this with them, and obviously utilising the equipment and stuff, making sure that the guys going back out into public in a safe state once they get their negative test results through. But it's nice to be part of this national effort against this fight of COVID-19. We've got 2 members of staff in my team that worked for the COVID support force that were mobilised last year, so having them on board is a little godsend. Myself and my other colleague haven't had that experience, but they've shown us the ropes. The training we've had in conjunction with the Army has been obviously vital, getting us up skilled, so we can then run the sites ourselves. So it is handy having experience from last year, but then equally what we also bring to the party. SAC Kevil works for the Department of Work and Pensions, and she's come on board as a clerk, so she's got wealth of experience from that perspective, and she's taking to it like a duck to water. She's doing a great job of booking the guys in, getting them through the test process and getting them out the door. So it does, we can utilise on our civilian qualifications and experience coupled with our military qualifications and experience, and we're doing what we're meant to do, so it works really well.
611 Squadron, based at RAF Woodville, recruits from this area. How incredible is that to be actually helping the community that the squadron's recruiting from?
Oh, it's bang on. It's really good, especially if the guys are from this local area and they're coming back to help out their local community. I think it works hand in hand. It is very good to see. There's a lot. 611, as you said, are predominantly obviously based in the northwest, and we do have quite a number of people living in this vicinity. So it is good to give something back to the community as well. Absolutely.
And as a reservist, you have a civilian career too. What's your normal role?
So outside of this kit, I work at Warburton's and speak as a depot manager. So we play our part as a company feeding the nation, feeding the northwest. I've managed to get time off from my day job to come and do this, and I'm grateful for the fact that they've afforded me the opportunity to come and do this. So It's nice, again, in essence, giving back to the community, to making sure that the guys that leave the door, once they've been tested, if they are negative, they can, go about their normal lives and, go back to work. But equally, if we've identified the fact they're positive, they can then do the 10-day isolation at home and, stop the spread of the disease. So it works out really well. But I'm pleased that I'm here helping out. Warburton's appreciates that it's a large national company, 4,500 people across the country, across the UK, and they recognise that some of their members of staff may or may not be reservists, and they afford them to have time off from work to come and do their ACT or to do, within reason, sort of mobilisations along these lines. So they are supportive of me, and I'm grateful for that fact. And it's a really good place to work as well. You look at the news and you see the doctors and nurses doing the massively long shifts, working seven days a week, and with the death toll as it is, it's nice to play my part, and it's an honour for us to be able to step up and do that as well. So I'm really grateful to be able to be here and help out with the national effort against COVID-19.
Steve Farnell, I'm in 2503, I'm a gunner and I'm based at RAF Waddington. It's good, yeah. We've been brought in, we've been shown how to test properly, we're replacing some of the guys from the army so they can go and do what they need to do. So it's quite a worthwhile cause, and it is very rewarding. I've just done a testing on a young man who's lost both his parents to COVID this morning, and it was quite poignant. And he'd come in for his test, and it really brings it home to you.
What special skills or experience do reservists bring to an operation?
Well, the whole advertising campaign on media is regular and reserve. Again, it's all about integration, isn't it? So for example, I'm a school teacher during the day, so skills of communication, talking, working with the team, all sort of things that cut across lots of different boundaries. It's also really pleasant as well to meet people of different ages, different perspectives, different ideas, different occupations.
Okay, I'm smashing the slope. Just and it's next way generally you've got it for. It's slope 5 times up and down each tonsil. Each side? 5 times each side, and then 10 times round your nostril, either nostril. One nostril, yeah.
My service is probably going to be defined by a testing kit as opposed to by using a weapon. But I have no problem with that at all. To support my local community, to support the people that are around us, is great. I'm a father of 3 young children, and I've got my own father who's 86 with a heart condition. So if he gets it, he's in trouble. So I do. I really feel it's a positive step forwards, really, for everybody. Just get involved and see what you can do.
You say you're a father of 3 young kids.
Yeah.
How has it been managing, contacting them and keeping that sort of continuity going with your family while it's still away?
Sure. I mean, social media is a great thing now, isn't it? Obviously there's certain things you've got to be wary of with social media, but WhatsApp groups, and you can have your little video chat, and we're always WhatsApping through the day, and I know that they're all working online doing their work, but yeah, they're fine. It's not a problem at all, and they're of an age, and they understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, so they're quite pleased with that, really. But they understand the value of the testing and what it's doing and how it's helping people, so they're fine. As for my wife, I couldn't have done it without her, really. She's very supportive. That's about it, really.
Yeah, but that's one of those things that's sort of quite often overlooked.
Oh yes.
As a reservist, you join up and you go off to do super cool things or really rewarding things.
Sure.
But it's it's impossible to do without the support of the family back home.
Oh, absolutely. 2 years ago, I went to Norway. On Wednesday night, I went there, and somebody said, "Do you want to go to Norway on Saturday?" So the first thing in my mind was, can I speak to my wife? So as soon as I got in, was Thursday. Oh, by the way, do you mind if I go to Norway for a week? And she was fine. The kids are good. I can't fault it. They're all teenagers. They all pull their weight, and without that little package behind you, you couldn't have as much fun, really, because you can't relax, really.
Okay, so I'm Jill Pritchard. I'm the squadron leader. I'm 614 Squadron that's based in Cardiff. My job here, I'm a 2IC of the Greater Manchester MACA deployment. It's been an amazing experience. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've been working with our Army colleagues who are absolutely brilliant with the handover when we took over the different sites where they'd been working with. We're working alongside our civilian counterparts, and that's been a really good experience because we don't often get a chance to do that. So it's been really, really helpful on both sides, and it's been fantastic. This is the second site that I've been at. I was at a different site for the first 2 weeks. That got handed back in totality to the civilian employers, which is brilliant. So then we were able to come here and we're assisting here, working alongside them until they take over in total at the end of next week.
You come from a medical and nursing background. How does this compare to some of the things that you've done before?
No, of course. I mean, having the background that I've had, I mean, I've been a nurse for 40 years. So with the infection control side has been absolutely brilliant because I've been able to explain to people in very simple terms why we need to wear masks, why we need to wear aprons, why we have to be so careful, why we need to maintain that social distancing, why we have to put certain things in certain bags. So it's not just telling them you must do this. They've now got a full understanding as to why and what protection that's actually giving them, and of course the clients that are coming here on a daily basis for their testing. So my nursing background has actually been really, really useful for this particular task.
And just sort of talking about the members of the public you've been interacting with, what has been the reception from them for the troops that are here helping out?
They've been absolutely delighted to see us because, again, they're not really used to meeting the military face-to-face on a daily basis. It's something that they probably see on the television or they read about, unless they actually have family or friends that are in the military. So for them it's been a really good experience, and they've been very inquisitive. They've asked lots of questions as to how long we're going to be here, will we stay a bit longer if we need to, and thanking us all for our support and assistance with this particular task. So it's been very, very well received.
And this has been sort of quite a special tasking in that it's been predominantly, well, virtually all reservists from the 3/4 services. How do you think that has worked as a reserve deployment?
It's worked brilliant because I think it's actually proven and shown time and time again that the reserves are so flexible. You know, we're all employed in different trades or branches when you join the reserve, and most of the people here are actually completely out of their comfort zone with those trades and branches, that they're not doing a job here for which they were actually joined the reserves to do. So it's just proven how flexible and agile and deployable we actually are, that we can turn our hands to any task at short notice with the correct training and the correct support, and actually conduct that task to a high standard. I think being a reservist, you join the reserves for a reason. And most of us join to actually serve and to do something and maybe to make a difference. So given this opportunity for all of us has been an amazing, because we've been able to make a difference and help and serve here in the UK. Normally when we get sort of called up or deployed, we go overseas. And it's helping the bigger cause, but here we've actually been seen in our local towns, in our local villages, in our local places. I mean, we've got people that are actually from here to actually be able to do something and to be seen by people that are actually doing it. And for people also to realise that the reserves are here as well, because not a lot of people do know about the reserves and the wider generation, wider population, and to utilise our skills and to be able to be used in this way, to me it has been fantastic. I mean, it's been a really great opportunity for us, and I think we've all learned, we'll all take something away from this, and hopefully it will all help us to move on and to helpfully, you know, should this need arise, I hope it never does, but should the needs arise for the support to the civilian authorities arise again, that people will know what they're doing, and we will all come and say, yes, we'll volunteer and be more than happy to come and join you.
SAC Steve Farnhill, who I spoke to earlier, offered to show me around one of the testing sites. We went to Bury Council's Bradley Full Transport Depot. So it's 6 a.m. in the morning, just arrived at Bury, the testing station. I've come across to see what's going on, and Steve is here to meet me. And what is it that you're doing here today?
We're just working on the testing centre, speaking to the guys behind us, all right, make sure they've been tested, they've got their results, and they're quite happy with what's going on.
And how is it going?
The first couple of days were really quite frantic and quite busy, and it's tailed off recently. But hopefully people are beginning to realise that it's well worth getting a test, especially as these guys spend all day in a van together or a truck together where they could easily spread the virus.
And how does your day pan out? Obviously it's first thing in the morning now. Are you here testing all day, or what way does it work?
So we're up at sort of 4, leave the hotel by about 5:15, get in here for 6 before the guys turn up. Make sure all the test site is correct and it's got all the correct PPE in place, correct signage, and making sure that people follow the one-way system. Once the guys got used to the one-way system, they've been fine. Initially it was just a case of educating people and asking people if they wouldn't mind using a particular corridor or going through a particular door, and that was us. That was what we did really.
Okay, well the testing station is set up now.
Yeah.
Obviously there's a few people here. I suppose, shall we go inside and then see how the day pans out?
Yeah, of course, it's not a problem at all.
Yeah, Steve, just tell us what you're doing now.
Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm actually registering for a test. Okay, so I've got to scan a QR code, which puts me onto a web page, scan the barcode on the test, and then that will take me through the process which I'm filling in now. Once I've got that, I can do my test.
So how often do you have to do the test?
We're doing it every 3 days, which is great.
I think your face is telling a different story there.
You just got to do it, haven't you? You know, it's part of what we need to be able to do, just to be safe, really, within our own respective bubbles. Which keeping to those bubbles has been a challenge at times, just for practicality's sake. But no, we managed it, and like I said, regular testing really is the safest way to be.
Many thanks to all who have contributed to this podcast, and of course to all the personnel who have been helping in the fight against COVID-19.
This is Reheat on Inside Air. I'm LAC Victoria Andrews with a look back at some recent news stories from the RAF. The Royal Air Force continues to invest and explore new technologies in readiness for the era of modern warfare. Now the RAF's Rapid Capabilities Office, the RCO, is harnessing new technologies which offer a step change in near real-time secure information distribution. RCO Deputy Head Group Captain Patrick Shea Simmons said how information advantage has always been key to success in operations, but in today's world the ability to pull together intelligence and present it in a way which enables near real-time decisions to be made is critical. Chancellor Rishi Sunak has pledged an extra £10 million in the budget to help veterans battling mental health problems. The fund will support Forces charities working with ex-military personnel. Forces in Mind Trust Chief Executive Ray Locke noted that veterans' mental health services have faced a critical increase in demand. He said, "The announcement is an important step in ensuring that all ex-service personnel and their families are able to access good quality health services when and where they need them." Iconic aircraft are to be housed in a new centre at the Falkland Islands Museum. They include one of the former 29 Squadron Phantoms which defended the overseas territory, and the last search and rescue Sea King used by the RAF in the South Atlantic. And finally to sport, the RAF Women's Rugby Union team have their eyes set on retaining the inter-services title when play resumes. They've signed 4 international players to bolster an already strong squad. The English and Scottish internationals bring a wealth of experience from their Six Nations campaigns, but also from playing in the Top Flight Women's Championship with their clubs. That's Reheat on Inside Air.
I'm SAC's Simon Ross with this episode's Name That Noise. That was the sound of an F-35B Lightning II, the RAF's latest multi-role frontline fighter. It's also the sound clip used by RAF Music Services for the Inside Air theme music. The F-35 has been combat ready since January 2019. flying with 17 Squadron, 207 Squadron and the famous 617 Squadron, the Dambusters. Its short takeoff and vertical landing capability, reminiscent of the Harrier, not only makes it ideal for short airstrips, but it also means it can operate from the new Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers, as well as the vessels of allied nations. If that wasn't already enough, the helmet-mounted display system shows combat information directly to the pilot on the visor. In other words, as you look around the cockpit, you can practically see through the aircraft. Armed with air-to-air missiles and bombs carried internally, plus the option for a 25mm gun pod, the F-35 truly is a force to be reckoned with.
That's all for this episode of Inside Air. Please give us a review and subscribe on your favourite podcast app, and join us again soon.
You've been listening to Inside Air, a behind-the-wire view of the Royal Air Force, its people, technology and operations. If you're serving in the RAF and have a story for us, please speak to your unit media and communications officer. Inside Air is written and produced for the Royal Air Force by RAF Media Reserves.